Hi folks, with Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this audio live stream. Welcome back. If you're a regular visitor here to this channel, please listen to this presentation as you would a radio broadcast. Just something I'll add here, YouTube, for some reason, no matter how many new subscribers I get, YouTube always has at the same time a slightly larger number of people unsubscribing. So say, for example, I get 100 subscribers in a week, for example, YouTube will make sure that 101 subscribers unsubscribe in that same week. So no matter how many new subscribers I get, overall, the numbers of subscribers drop by, small amounts. So as far as I can tell, I've got several hundred new subscribers over the period, like over the last few months or so. But the number of subscribers has actually fallen by, I think, 10 or 15 over that same time. So if you're thinking of subscribing, please do. Now, if you've recently subscribed, please sort of tell me why in the comments, or if you've unsubscribed but still occasionally listen, then also say why. I don't believe, I think YouTube's manufacturing all the numbers. I'd be surprised if anything, it's all algorithmic and predetermined by YouTube to punish or reward based on the views one may or may not hold. Looking at the issue now of black crime in the United States, or you could even say everywhere, if you look at, say, black crime in Britain or anywhere in the world, particularly where they're in white communities, the relative percentage of crime committed by black people, given their population in these countries, again, the US or Britain, is about the same. It seems, almost like it's pre-programmed or something. So, 10% of the population black will commit 42% of the crimes. You can almost set your watch by it. So I was quite surprised looking at there were some stats that I saw, and there must be some double counting this because it seems incredible, but maybe not, that something like 20% of the black population in the US at any one time is either in prison or on some sort of parole, or in some sort of diversionary program or community service program. So at any one time, 20% of the population. Now, if you assume the population, the black population in the United States is somewhere in the vicinity of 35 million, then you're looking at 8 or 9 million black people are fitting into that. That seems incredible. Then when you add in addition to that numbers where people who were in prison but say they're out now, then it seems, it's inconceivable in my mind that as much as getting on for something like half the black population of the US either is or has been in prison or under some sort of court orders. Unbelievable. Now, let's assume for the moment that's true, or even somewhat true. Even if you just look at the prison numbers alone, at any one time, there's anywhere between 1.5 and 2 million black people in prison. Wow. So let's even look at that in isolation. Now, there's been a lot of talk, especially over the last few years, and the various prosecutors and attorneys general in the United States, particularly the ones that are funded by George Soros, and they're sort of very leftist and Marxist in their view. They say, well, clearly locking up these people hasn't worked. It's really not achieving anything. If you repeat offenders, this sort of thing, as soon as they get out, they commit the crimes. So locking them up isn't working. What else can we do? Now, the alternative prescriptions that they put forward, just assign a social worker and everything will be good. That's not working either. But the basic motivation here is this hasn't worked. What can we do that's different? Now, maybe there's some fine tuning in the first thing. So say prison is it's compulsory for you to learn a trade or something, that sort of thing. really push that. But some of these people have an IQ of 80. They're illiterate and they're dyslexic. I mean, what are you going to do? I mean, really, you can't learn a trade. So what can you train them to do? Should there be certain jobs that are assigned to these sort of people who are in those circumstances? I don't know. But it's going to take a fairly substantial sort of 360-degree effort to try and change the situation, assuming it's even changeable. Should there be other options that are made available? So look, you're gonna have to do 20 years in prison here in the US, or we've got a prison in Africa, and if you go there, you only have to do 10 years in prison, and then 10 years you can spend in Africa, and then you can come back after that, those sorts of things. And so a great deal of imagination is going to be needed. If you've got so much trouble fitting into the white society here, you should be given the option of going to Africa. If you're always complaining about, I want to see people who look like me, black people, then do you want to go to Africa? There should be an option on the table. There's lots of black people there. If that's your issue, then here's an option. You can go there. Oh, no, I want to go with these black people in a rich country. So I don't know how that would play out, but it's going to take, an everything on the table type discussion to deal with, because the cost to the wider community, whether you look at costs in incarceration, costs in dealing with property damage, somebody gets murdered who's a lifetime income earner, and all these sorts of things are going to be need to be recognised and considered as a cost. Why is it that the amount of crimes committed are disproportionately high wherever black people go, anywhere in the world? They get that same. So why is that? And if you look at, say, somewhere approximating half the black population in the US is incapable of sort of avoiding criminal activity, that still says that the other half is working out okay. So the situation isn't beyond hope. But coming back to this idea of, well, locking them up isn't working, so what else can we do? Well, fine, what else can we do? Putting them back on the street with social worker, that's bullshit. So how far can the discussion go before people are accusing you of being a Hitler Nazi racist? I mean, can you even talk about the difficult issues? There was a cartoonist who said, look, it doesn't work the white people and the black people living together, and you need to try and avoid them. And he was pilloried and his career destroyed. I don't think the guy will ever work again after saying that. And yet what was untrue about what he said? He's a racist. So I think that the conversation should be held. I agree. Locking them up, it didn't work. It hasn't worked. It isn't working. But when it comes down to what else can we do, that now becomes a touchy and difficult subject to discuss. But it's a conversation we have to have. And I think that I believe that everything should be on the table, up to and including temporary deportation. If you want to be around people who look like you, and then you have that option, and we'll give it to you. And those sort of things, I think, need to be on the table as well. You've been with Tacitus today, your Pushback Channel, and thank you for listening.